Hi, this is Phyllis with Phyllis Finds. I'm bringing you a crafting video. I don't know if any of you have what I have, but all of these paper pieces that you get with the Dollar Tree, I have a ton of these smaller square pieces that you can either use to make little embellishments, cards, whatnot with them. So what I thought I'd do is show you how you can take these little pieces and make some cards and some strips that you can embellish to put in your junk journals. I'm going to show you some of the ones that I've already done. These are little cards. Now this is just taking some of these little guys here, folding them into a card size. You can pick whatever card size you want, folding them in half. They are, some of them, rather thick, but that's okay. And then you cut to make your little cards. Trim off any excess that's there that you don't want. And then you have another piece that you can use somewhere else or do whatever you want with it. But making these little cards, you can embellish them. Now, I have bought a lot of these little embellishments that you get through Temu. Little pieces of paper and whatnot, and you look at them and you think, oh my gosh, what am I going to use those in? Where am I going to put them? Everything imaginable, from vellum, little pages here, to stamps, some little nature cards, but they're all super cute and would be great in embellishing some of these small cards. So that's what I'm going to do, is show you some of the ones that I have done just using what I have. So now I've got some of these stickers as well, and some Tim Holtz strips. You can also use washi tape. There's all different types of washi tape. I brought one of my trays of washi tapes. These are all some of the vintage ones. But using washi tapes as well to embellish these, it does quite a job. So little scraps of paper, and I know everybody's got these scraps of paper. I have a bin that is full of little scraps, and that's what I've done with this. I've had these little bits of paper and just using them to make little cards. Now this one here is just a flat card, so it can be used as a tuck spot. This one was the top of something, which I ended up not using it for that, but I made it into a little decorative card using some of the stamps, little bits of fabric. I have all kinds that are always laying around from projects that I've worked on. Some more of that little paper. You can use paper. This one came from an old book, so I've used that. Stickers that you may have, you can embellish that once again using all these little bits and pieces. This one here, I actually made a tuck spot using a piece that I had just sitting there. And then of course this was just a little square piece that was left over from another project, so I embellished it with some of that Tim Holtz. I did have this little piece that was left, so I embellished it with a sticker. Once again, using some more of that old type. Just making little itty bitty cards with these. This one has some paper, some scraps from scrapbooking paper plus one of those little cards, floral cards. This one had just this little guy here, so I made an actual little card. Now you can use these as gift cards to put on a package, or you can make yourself some envelopes. A couple more. Some not completely done. This one here, I'm probably going to put some washi tape or something else on here. Now, I don't know if any of you have gotten the Monopoly color form kits that they have. I bought like 4 or 5 of them and thought these will make cute little cards. So I actually took some of the money out, took one of the little cards, put it in there. You can decorate it up with some of the stickers that are in the color forms. But there's all different ways you can go with those. I've also made some little envelopes. So, in using the bigger pieces of paper to make the envelopes, you can make little envelopes to match some of your little cards. And these can be tucked or glued in place in a junk journal. Once again, you know, just scraps that you have, small papers, or the papers that come in the junk journals, or the these paper kits that you can get at the Dollar Tree. So to start, I'm going to show you some of the things I've done. Now, quite a few of them you can make these ATC cards just by cutting them down. And you can have these in stock, ready to be used, just blank, so that when you're working on a project, you can go back in and just pull one out. You can also make tags with them by cutting the top corners different. Or you can just make smaller little cards. Some of the ones that I have done and was working on was this one here. Once again, it was just a plain blank one. I actually used this little card. It's a Tim Holtz stamp, and they're perfect for this because it makes it in a smaller scale. And so you can see, and I used some washi tape on that. I'm working on that one. Same with this. This was just a sticker scrap that I had. It's actually drawer liner, and this was just a little piece that was left from it, so I just put it on there. This is washi tape across here. This is part of that stamp. Once again, getting the bottom with the writing. On this one, I just used some of it. It's the same size as these, and made a little tag, punched a small hole at the top. Another, this is the ATC size, sticker, layered, and ready to go. Now, some of these with these natural papers, they have a lot of fiber in them, which are not exactly the easiest to cut on any of your cutting tools. And one of the things that I have that I've bought and used constantly are these emery boards. Now, I got these at the Dollar Tree. They're just the solid white. I haven't used any other colored ones. I like the white ones because it just takes care of whatever you've got. But if you've got any of this little shed along there, let's see if I got a... Let's use the back side of this. You can see where there's some ragged little bits. You can use these to take that little extra rag off. It also works to roughen up an edge if you want to make it look distressed. But those will, let's trim that one off. These work really well for cleaning up a edge. Now, I also thought about using something like this. Now, some of these paper come with a lot of ruffled and distressed edges. So this one here, you can write or lay out your card on there, write around it with a pencil, and then you've got a little pocket that you can glue in place. And you can use that on any of the regular ATCs. They will work, you know, really, really cute in there. And that allows you to tuck something in place. Any of your little cards, you can tuck in there, one side in, leaving the other side out. And it makes a cute little embellishment on your junk journal. And all I do is take a little bit of the glue. Of course, art glitter glue is my go-to for this. Just a little bit around the edge. Place on your card. Just in place. And if you have a little bit sticking out, you can go along and trim that off. Just so that it's matched with the card on the back side. This gets you your little pocket. And that way you can just tuck your little card in there and it's ready to go in your book. A little trim there. Ready to go. So that's some of the ideas that I have for those. I also had some of the bigger squares. And you can see, you know, these are slightly bigger. Instead of cutting them down to the ATC, you can make them into something like this. Put a belly band across. This is just some paper that had some birds. I fell in love with it. You can use it to tuck your ATCs on the side. You know, they will look really cute in your junk journal, just sticking out on the side. Also, you can have any size of little cards. These are all little bits and pieces that I've had. In fact, this one here is an embossed one. So I thought of putting it in here and making a little embossed card there. Red, Christmas. You can do Halloween. You can do different types. But one of the things I look for is just little bits and pieces. So, you know, like this little card here has a bird on it. It has a little torn corner. So what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to pull out some of the flowers I have. There's another one. I used fabric on this one. I keep all the flowers I have tucked in these little things. You know, you could put a butterfly there if you wanted. You could have put a big flower there if you wanted. Different colors and whatnot. But this one here, I'm just going to put a plain white one. Put in the corner there. And I'm not a fan of these little centers, so I take them off. And then I put my own little center in there. So I'm going to put this one on here. You can distress it if you plan on distressing the whole thing, or you can just leave it as it is. This way you're using up your supplies, you're adding some funness to the picture that you're working on, or the little card you're working on. And then let's go in here. This is my box full of embellishments. So I'm going to find one that matches. And I like pulling them out and looking to see which one. I could go with the pink on this, the blue, which picks up the blue there, or I could go with the green, I could go with the orange. This one has so many different colors. You can go with smaller, bigger. You can even go with like the star center, which is kind of a cute one, or a heart on it. I think I'm going to go with a heart. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of tab of glue here, because these stickers don't necessarily always stay in place once you put them. And there is that one, ready to be filled out, to be glued in place, to be tucked, and to go with what you have. And if you do up a bunch of these all at once, you will have the ability to just grab from a container of nothing but tags or little cards. And using up some of these supplies works out really well. So taking your let's see, we've got 3.5 there. So we'll go down to 2.5. And now there's one of those ones that have a lot of that fiber stuff in there. Now you can go along and trim off that, which is what I've done in the past. Save your little scraps because you can use them in another project. And then take your corner punch and decide how big of a punch you want on it. So, you know, like this, because it is so fibrous, it is not going to cut very cleanly. So you are going to have to clean up sometimes on these corners. I like to put my punch in so that I can see what I'm punching instead of doing it this way. And once again, clean up on the corners. And of course you can use the nail file to do a lot of that as well. It helps to get some of that heavy fuzz off. It also is great for distressing your paper if you want to continue to distress. Now see how I'm distressing all of this? If that's a look you want, it will allow you to do that with this. And it doesn't harm it, you know, you just have a more natural, roughed look on there. Of course, then you have fuzz everywhere, but that's easy to clean up. So in taking this, scrap down there, let's look and see what kind of embellishments we can do on this. Let's go in here and look to see what, see that. That really matches it. Now this one here, I don't like this edge here, so I'm going to trim that off. And then trim off the top up here. It can go right in there. And then we've got washi tape we can run down through it. Let's see. We have some fabric we can put in there. So let's rough up the fabric here. Take off some of these threads so it has a little bit of nice edge there, not so abrupt. Let's cut that down. We don't need it as long. You don't need a whole lot on there. Your glue is going to go right through your fabric. And then you can put your little design on there. And if you want to distress it, you can do that. And these are really paper thin, so you would have to put them on something. You can back them with cardstock if you wanted to. And there's in part of it. That off there. Now the other thing I like to do on this, if I'm going to put some washi tape, is to make sure that I have a little bit of glue underneath it, because washi tape has a tendency to come up after it's put down. It doesn't always stay right where you put it. So, and there you have that. Now we could add, let's see how big these butterflies are. Could add one of these butterflies to the corner, or we could change up the color of that butterfly so that it is not so pure white. And one of the quickest ways to do that, pull it off its thing, use one of these. Now I get these cutting boards at the Dollar Tree. When you remove that little pearl center, ribbon. That gets that. And I'm going to remove this foam on the back side. It worked fine for holding it in place while I was doing the other. And then I'll also just kind of take that little excess glue off. And then this one here we're going to stick in place. And once again, we can go to our center embellishments and pick something out. On this one here, I'm going to use one of these guys. And there you go. You've got a little ATC card. So I'm hoping this has helped you and you will find some inspiration for making little cards, little ATC decor, and just play with it. That's the fastest and the quickest way to, improve and change and find the inspiration. Just pulling, some of your scraps that you have, and I know everybody has scraps. I collected scraps for the longest period of time and decided, well, you know what? They're not going to go anywhere unless I do something with them. So changing them and putting them into use in junk journals is going to be a benefit for myself as well as, whatever junk journal I'm going to put in. It makes it much quicker if you can just pull from a stash and get what you need to, design your junk journal. Adding a lot of the work in junk journals is making these little embellishments to go in a junk journal. So this way you can add and change and make your junk journal more personal because you have taken the time to create some things. But I hope this has been informative. I do have a Temu haul that will be coming within the next week, and it has a whole bunch of new papers and new embellishments. And so we can create with some of those as well. But happy crafting, everyone, and thanks for stopping by. Please like and subscribe.